Pelé was my idol when I was a child.
Significa futebol. Desde quando eu entendia o que era futebol, eu sempre escutei o nome do Pelé. Isso era na rua, isso era na quadra, isso era no colégio. Se alguém driblava 3 jogadores, marcava um gol, o cara falava, caramba, fez um gol de Pelé.
I was a little guy at 17 years of age, the same age as me, his name was Pelé. And he ran absolute riots in that game, and I thought, I want to be like him.
Ja, Pelé ist, ich glaube, man braucht gar nicht mehr sehr viel dazu fügen. Pelé ist der Fußballer dieses Jahrhunderts, wenn nicht sogar der Sportler dieses Jahrhunderts. Ich hatte die große Freude und auch das große Glück, mit ihm ein Jahr bei Cosmos New York zu spielen.
Et je pense que lorsqu'il jouait, il ne se disait pas qu'il voulait être le meilleur joueur de l'histoire, il voulait prendre du plaisir et aider sa sélection et son club comme il l'a fait. Voilà, moi ce que je veux c'est aider le Paris Saint-Germain, aider l'équipe de France.
When we talk about the greatest, we talk about names that outlive eras. Pelé is one of those names, a boy from Tres Corações who carried a dream in his feet. But in 1970, the world watched him transform football into poetry. This is why people still get goosebumps watching Pelé in 1970. From his earliest days, Pelé carried something rare, effortless genius married to relentless ambition. At age 17, he burst into the spotlight and won the 1958 World Cup. He followed that with 1962, but by 1966, life had tested him. Injuries, fouls, criticism. Many believed his peak was gone, yet he returned stronger. 1970 was his vindication, his magnum opus. What makes 1970 unique is not simply that it was his last World Cup, it's that it was his finest. At 29, with maturity, experience, and flair, Pelé operated at a level few had ever reached. He wasn't just bigger, faster, stronger. He was smarter, more conscious. He played not for himself, but for Brazil. He became both conductor and lead actor in a footballing symphony. The 1970 Brazil side is still often called the greatest national team ever. Mario Zagallo molded a formation around fluid chaos, nominally a 4-4-2, 4-2-4 shape that morphed in attack with 5 players comfortable in a number 10 creative role. That wasn't happenstance. Brazil had an embarrassment of creative wealth. Pelé, Tostão, Rivellino, Gerson, Jairzinho, all could dribble, pass, score. It was said that Brazil's 1970 squad included 5 men who normally wore the number 10 at club level. Zagallo's genius was in integrating them. He didn't restrict flair, he framed it. He asked players to press, rotate, and constantly move. No one stood still. That meant Pelé often dropped deeper, became a link man rather than just a finisher. This tactical balance allowed defenders to be drawn, space to open, and for attack waves to sustain. In the final against Italy, you saw this tactical beauty in motion. Italy attacked Brazil's left flank, but Brazil's halfbacks, fullbacks, and midfield pivot combined to absorb pressure, recycle possession, and strike with precision. The famous sweeping goal, Pelé's hold-up, his layoff to Carlos Alberto, is now a case study in tactical poise, and his midfield partner Gerson, known as the brain of the team, was critical. He could switch defense to attack with laser passes, control tempo, and release forwards with timing. The opening goal, final versus Italy. Early in that final, Pelé leapt above defenders and headed Brazil ahead. That header wasn't just timing, it was inevitability. It told the world, this is his tournament. In the air, Pelé seemed suspended, weightless. That moment remains iconic. The runaround dribble. Against Uruguay, Pelé executed a classic let-it-roll move, letting a pass skate past the keeper, running around him, collecting again. Even though the shot didn't land, the audacity and timing made it legendary. The Carlos Alberto sequence. Not a single player dominates this goal. It's fluid, collaborative, but Pelé is central. He draws defenders, lays off, and self-sacrifices space. The ball flows, The finish, thunderous. The memory, eternal. The Banks save. One of the most discussed moments is the header Pelé attempted that Gordon Banks somehow tipped over. Banks later called it one of the greatest saves. Pelé admitted, even now, he can't believe the reflex. That moment shows that Pelé's brilliance invited, even demanded, greatness from opposition. It's not a failure, it's part of the legend. Pelé once said, "Success is no accident. It is hard work, perseverance, learning, studying, sacrifice, and most of all, love of what you are doing." He lived that in every session, every recovery, every touch. What makes 1970 still moving is not perfection, it's vulnerability. He risked, he was pushed, he was pressured. Some matches were tough, some defenses clamped on him. Sometimes he struggled, but he always rose. He played with joy. That glint in his eyes, the smile after a nutmeg, the light step. They signified someone playing for love as much as legacy. By the time Brazil lifted the trophy, Pelé wept, not for fame, but for fulfillment. He had carried a nation. He had delivered a masterpiece. He had, in his words, composed a final crescendo to his greatest act. Pelé's influence extends far beyond goals and trophies. In 1970, Brazil became the face of football. The team's style, character, and swagger influenced generations. In Brazil, in the streets, kids wore number 10. They dribbled in alleys, imagining Pelé. He made football aspirational for the poor, black, underrepresented, showing that talent plus work equals transcendence. Zagallo, the manager, became part of that legacy, winning as both player and coach. His philosophy: let talent breathe, but ground it in structure. That balanced freedom is still studied. Opponents respected him. Bobby Moore exchanged shirts with him. Franz Beckenbauer later said, "Pelé is the greatest player of all time." He reigned supreme for 20 years. When Pelé died, the world mourned, not just Brazil, everywhere, because he wasn't just a legend, he was our legend. You could watch his 1970 goals today, low resolution, scratchy audio, and still feel your chest tighten. That's not nostalgia, that's resonance. Pelé's 1970 isn't just highlight reel, it's myth in motion, it's memory that lives. It reminds us what's possible when discipline meets dream. Even today, coaches, players, fans speak of Pelé moments, a turn, a flick, a pass. When you sense someone beyond the moment, and when you see it, goosebumps rise, because the world has waited decades to see that kind of light one more time.